Fine. You know what?
Wait, why do my cheekbones literally look so crazy when I do that?
They're crazy snacks. You know, I can do a sunset lamp too. That's something a lot of people don't know about me.
That you have a sunset lamp?
Well, yes, and that I can really do it. I can really work one.
That's so true.
I mean, if there's something about me that I can do in a moment.
I'm really good at,
Or what?
I don't know, like performing, like modeling and like looking
Oh my
really.
God, I literally can't work a sunset lamp. Everything just fell.
This is reminding me of the time where we had a meeting for like one of your classes or like an interview or whatever. Dropped like your pills. It you were doing a transcript of the meeting, so it
I
recorded.
know. I was like, oh shoot, I dropped my pills.
They fell into the nether. Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of classes, welcome to class, everyone.
Fun
Um,
session. I need someone to come in here and hold this.
wait, you look like you're under the sea.
You-
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna start sharing my screen.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Speaking of classes in session starting now.
All
I'm
right.
not able to see within 2 minutes, so
Why not?
because there's a sunset anyway, I
So
can you
this,
know what?
so this slide is called Reflecting on Our Summer. So how was your summer?
Um, I like was it was a blur for me, really. It was fine. Can I just say fine and that be my answer?
That's totally good for your
I
answer.
don't really have a lot. I don't really have shit to say.
Wait, good idea.
It's
Um,
it's for my health.
no, literally.
Well, literally, it's for my health.
No, literally.
Me to you, it's not to me.
Okay, so sunglass stream. Okay, so
How was your summer, Grace?
my summer was an emotional roller coaster. But we don't need to get into that. So really this segment was kind of pointless for both of us. But
So we both don't want to talk about it. How's the summer? No comment from either of
so
us.
you are logging on to this podcast to hear us talk, but unfortunately we will not be doing that
Well,
today.
we're not gonna do that. So, you.
Okay, but what was your songs of the summer?
Fat Lip by Sum 41
Okay.
was a biggie. Do you know that one?
No.
I'm sure it's like one of those songs that like everyone knows, but no one knows what it's called. It's like do 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 do. It's in the vein of like I guess like it's like in a Blink
Oh, that
180.
song.
Yeah. I don't and it's like no, I'm not the one you thought you knew back in high school. I don't want to waste my time. Become another casualty of society. I'll never fall. Anyways, I'm going through the songs I liked during the summer. I had a lot of phases. I had a snail mail phase when it was hot because of
Yeah.
heat wave. Oh, Vampire Empire,
Yeah,
duh.
that's one of mine as well.
That was a moment for me.
That was a moment and a half for sure.
I wanted to be your woman. I wanted to be your man. I wanted to be the one that you could understand.
That moment did. You know the song Us by Regina Spektor that's in like 500 Days of Summer. It's like, we built a statue of us.
Maybe not.
They made a statue of us.
Okay, a song called Wannabe by Femme. Big one. Yeah, those are some highlights for me.
Those are good. Good highlight. So at camp in our little show, I sang Fade Into You. So that was a song that I heard over and over and over again and kind of defined my summer.
I look to you and I see nothing.
By Mazzy Star, Bobby. But recent songs that came out that I was listening to a lot. Honey by Samia.
I wanna go to the beach and die on the beach. I wanna be a mermaid.
True Love by Christine and the Queens and fuck. Oh, 70
Who
Shades.
said that?
With your dark brown eyes staring at me. With your dark eyes staring at me.
Yeah. Did I? Wait, when?
Probably during the summer.
Oh. T. Those are all the ones that like, and Vampire Empire. And then Ventura Highway by America and George Martin.
'Cause the free wind is blowing through your hair, and the days surround your daylight there.
It's like an old song, but it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were the T's. Those were the best ones. Oh,
Nice.
America Has a Problem by Beyonce and like all of Renaissance for sure.
You got that deep for me. Real love is deep for me. I'ma make you go weak for me. Make you wait a whole week for me.
Was a big one.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, next. Oh, girl, come on now. Okay, so this movie, Bottoms. So we both saw this in theaters separately, not with each other. And I had been looking forward to this movie for a long time because I like read some like tweet about a girl who was in the bathroom at some film festival that this premiered at, and Rachel Sennett and Io Debris like were in the bathroom too, and they were like talking to each other, and they were like really excited about it because like the audience response to it was really good. So they were like, oh my god, like the crowd loved it, like blah blah blah. And it was like really cute how they were like talking to each other. Not the point. I had been looking forward to this for a long time, and it totally like lived up to my expectations, but also was like really not at all what I was expecting. But it was
The way you led you, because we haven't talked about it. I don't even know how you know I knew I saw it, maybe because I put it on Letterboxd or something. But you were like, I'm seeing Bottoms, and I was like, ooh, yay. And then we didn't talk about it because we were gonna talk about it here. The way you were leading that up made it sound like you're gonna be like, and I was so disappointed in it. You really got me nervous for a second.
No, I loved it. I think I knew you saw it because you said when you were gonna see it.
Oh, that too.
But I don't know.
I agree with both your points. I really, really liked it. It's my favorite movie of the year that I've seen.
Wow.
Well, like I'm literally radium right now. Of 20 like that came out in 2023. Not like necessarily my favorite movie I've seen. Well,
right. The best movie of
was
this year.
What was Tar? Was Tar 2022?
No, Tar was 2022.
Okay, then yeah, that's
Perhaps was like late 2021.
I haven't really seen them. I've seen Barbie. I didn't see Oppenheimer yet. We can talk about that. I don't know if I might have only seen Barbie. No, I've definitely seen something else, but I think it was my favorite regardless. Oh, I saw Nefarious and Beau is Afraid. So the competition, I mean, it's not.
Yeah. I've seen this, Oppenheimer, Barbie. What else?
Beau is Afraid.
Oh, were you at Ryan's house when we watched Bama Rush?
I was.
I think that came out.
wasn't going in the running, but now
that wasn't quite.
It's not going to be the winner, but it's now in the running. So
yeah. Wait, when did Beau is Afraid come out?
June or like May? Yeah, early May.
Oh, then Beau is Afraid.
Yeah, well, I already said that.
Oh, Avatar: The Way of Water, maybe.
Yeah, I missed that one.
Now I think I'm in 2022. But yeah, I think my favorite is Oppenheimer and then Bottoms. And then Beau is Afraid and then Barbie. That's my ranking.
I don't really know if I have a ranking. I think Barbie might be number 2 before Beau is Afraid. I don't know. They're kind of hard to compare.
They are.
But I love Bottoms. The point is I love Bottoms.
Yeah. Bottoms was a lot like Beau is Afraid, like the vibe of it, some kind of.
I don't know that I agree. I get what you mean in some ways, but the effect of it was
so yeah.
But I get like in the absurdity of it all.
In the absurdity and like the way that like a lot of the people acted because of the violence of the like football.
Yeah, like when they just killed everybody. That was so funny.
But even like leading up to it, how that girl like goes on the intercom and is like, these, I forget what the rival high school was, but they were like, these people from this high school like cornered me in an alley and attacked me. I was like, this could be in Beau's Afraid because it's just such like a, and the one who was in the wrestler who was kept in the background, like in the cage,
Yeah, in the
scared
cage.
glass. That was so
Yeah,
funny.
that was really funny.
Um, like
What surprised you? It was not what I expected either, but how was that for you?
I didn't realize it was like an absurd comedy. I thought it was more in the vein of like just a normal teen movie.
Yeah, I
Like
agree. I don't think they marketed it as such,
yeah. But
which
then
is
it was just like completely like not like surreal almost. Not
yeah,
surreal, but
totally. I think it could be surreal. I think this is actually one of the things that people call camp that is camp.
yeah.
Maybe if that's
I think camp is supposed to be purposely bad though.
unaware, I guess.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know. Maybe it's like the second definition of camp.
Oh.
It's what people
No, yeah.
want. People who want things who call things camp that are not camp. This is
This is
that.
what they're thinking of.
But
But
yeah, this is what the standard is for. Yeah, exactly. We're on the same. I Something that I didn't notice until I stepped out that I loved is like it's so timeless. And I had this thought a few weeks ago that I think is very relevant to Bottoms, which is like it's really hard to make media about Gen Z because so much of Gen Z is COVID. Like so much of the ethos of Gen Z, of Zoomers, we're literally called Zoomers, is that COVID happened to us. But there is no like way to incorporate COVID into a narrative that I've seen like work well, except for the bear, really. But that's like an exception because COVID actually like had a part in that it like fucked up the businesses. But like, so it's like, how do you talk about Gen Z without talking about COVID? You can't. But you can't talk about COVID. But and also just like other really specific timely things. But I think COVID is like the number one specific timely thing. And I think it's always hard to reference current events. And I think that like Bottoms just like totally took context out of the like question because not a single cell phone, not one cell phone. There's a flip phone. That was it. Um and like the way they dressed, like I mean like I honestly currently like there is no defining style of like dress, so it's like I don't even know how you could like dress like Gen Z, but like if you look at any one of these outfits like that could actually be like any time period within the last like 30, 40 years, but it felt like one of the most like accurate like portrayals that wasn't like trite or like already like I feel like a lot of things that are trying to be like trying to get the um like get the nail on the head, like get the pulse on the culture are already like behind. And since this wasn't trying to do anything too specific, I think it got the pulse. It found the pulse, found the
yeah,
heartbeat.
I agree. Because I think like another part of Gen Z is that it's like our culture is like constantly evolving, but it's also like really, really individualized. Like we aren't like there are so many subgroups of like of TikTokers, even for example. Like there's the I don't even know. What I'm trying to say is we have like this slang that goes in and out of style in like 2 weeks and like fashion trends that go in and out of style in 2 weeks. Like
Acceleration.
what?
Acceleration.
Accelerate, yeah. It's a very accelerating culture, so it would be hard to like capture that in like a movie, especially because movies are filmed are like written and then filmed over like a timeline of 2 years basically. So like if you start, you know what I'm saying? Like
I know
it's
exactly what you're saying. Yeah, because if you try and do too many references of something that's happening, they're gonna feel outdated by the time they
exactly.
like whenever there's that one thing, that one famous of like the girl with like the blonde like pieces. And then when it came out, they were like, no one has that hair
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. And it's like the Gossip Girl reboot does this so poorly, how they like overuse slang and oh, the other thing it didn't do is it didn't try to make every single character like a PC warrior, which or like blue-haired liberal like the Gossip Girl reboot does, like how every character has to be perfectly PC and like perfectly like a this makes me sound so Republican what I'm saying right now, but
No,
like how they do it so poorly, how they make every single character like a political activist is crazy. And then this movie like doesn't do that, and it works so much better in like
Oh
having
yeah. It's like how I'm like, oh, and just like that is homophobic.
yeah,
That's like I'm like, then the way you're depicting like queer people, like that's homophobic.
literally Shay
Are
Diaz.
you making them why are you doing them so dirty? But
Also
yeah, no,
Shay Diaz. Okay, in the first
talk about just like
episode,
that.
what?
Let's talk about and just like that. Let's have a
Yeah,
little break.
let's like make a little
Let's get into that.
side note of this, but in and just like that, Shay Diaz, the non-binary podcaster, they have like this weed device that I've never in my life seen, and it confuses me so
I've
much.
seen that before. The vaporizer?
In real life,
Yes.
the one that's like a rectangle.
I mean, maybe it was cylindric, circular, but I've seen
Well,
it.
yeah, but
Maybe it wasn't exactly that.
it
But yeah,
looks like a jewel pod, but like there's a compartment for like weed.
yeah, I've seen
And
that.
it's so weird. I've never seen that in
But
my
it's
life.
like not like it's not like common enough that or like definitely not something you can just like do in the elevator.
That was crazy too. Like
Like,
that's so rude. Like you're
I
in
know,
an
especially the elevator, you're in an enclosed space. You're like, wait, let me hotbox this and
that
then
like there's no way that didn't stink up the elevator. Like there's no way Carrie wouldn't be coughing her brains out, whether it's vapor or not. Like that's just so inconsiderate.
I know.
That's transphobic,
That's
to be honest.
crazy. That's
Like
so transphobic.
literally painting trans people as like
I
serial
know. That's
non-consensual hot boxers of elevators is literally disgusting, and they need to like apologize for that.
They need to make some amends.
Okay, but back to bottoms. This was perfect and it was hilarious, and all the performances in it especially were like comedic highs of the century. Like
Oh,
Marshawn Lynch is incredible. I already knew he was funny because of the episode of like Murderville that he was on, which is some show with Will Arnett who plays BoJack Horseman. They like improvise everything and it's really really funny. Um and he was like on one of the episodes, he was one of the guests and he was really funny on that. And then Rachel Sennett obviously I knew was funny, and Io Debris because of their Twitter presences. But then like Kaya Gerber was really funny in it. And then especially the girl who played Isabel, I don't know her name. Wait, is it up there? No. I don't know her name, but the one who played Isabel, she was so funny. Like every line she delivered, I was like, wait, yeah. And it was so good. Like what?
yeah,
But
everyone really delivered. Everyone worked so well with each other. And I know, like, I don't know how much was improvised, but I know there's like the one speech that Io does
yeah,
is improvised with her watch. She's like, and I'm gonna be closeted, I'm gonna get
the
married to
pastor.
a gay pastor and whatever. But like that, like knowing that was improvised, like I'm sure a lot of the rest of it was like, well, even in like the ending credits, like you see them working. I don't know if you stayed through them, but like they
I
work
did.
different iterations. Like they just like work so well
Mhm.
with each other.
I did.
I did. I was seated.
I was seated as well.
So
I
seated.
made sure. I was like, it was like the nerds at the end of Marvel
I
movies,
know.
aka me and my family.
Waiting for Hawkman to come in and say, "This isn't over."
Literally. What else? Carolina Succession was in it as like a MILF, and
I know that cameo.
that was my jaw dropped. I don't think I was in the theater for like her introductory scene. I think I was in the bathroom for that. But when she came back on screen, I was like, oh, this is the best moment of my life. Like, this is everything. Because I love her so much. Like one of my favorite actors from Succession. Okay,
And
anyways.
speaking of being in the theater, my theater was so responsive. And it was like they were everyone. You want to know also something funny? So there are these, since I'm like a creep and I like really just like I'm just observant. I'm observant. There are these two people who sat in front of us, and so I saw Bottoms, and then I had to like run from Bottoms to the Wise Blood concert. I'm waiting in line at the Wise Blood concert, and I'm like, I see them in front of me, the same two people in the concert. It's like a small concert. I get to the front of the crowd. I get to the front of the stage. Next to me, these two people. I get home from Wise Blood. I run to the gay bar. Who's at the gay bar? These two people. And I go up to them, and I'm like, sorry to be not to be creepy, but like, I've been with you this entire day. And they're like,
How did they respond to that?
They're like, oh, haha, funny.
Oh,
They thought it was funny. I didn't think that, like, I was just like,
you have
wow,
to say it. You have to
I
say
have
it.
to say it. Like, that's just the kind of thing you have to say.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. And you had to say it.
and I had to say it. I had to speak my piece. Anyways, yeah, my theater was awesome. Like, I just people like everyone. There was chemistry in the theater.
Literally, and I love when that happens. That's my
Often there's
favorite part of
chemistry in the
movie
theater.
theaters. Because I actually love talking to strangers, but like not actually talking to them, but like having an experience.
Reacting with them.
It's
Yeah.
like being like witnessing something really weird when you're out in public and you like look at a stranger and you guys are
Uh,
on the same page about it. Like that's everything. So like watching movies in in like a full theater where like you're having the same reactions as other people, you're like, this is so funny and like humans are so beautiful and we're all just like each
so
other.
beautiful.
God.
My favorite social event.
Yeah, but then I drive on the highway in New Jersey and then I'm like, everyone's so
Yeah.
me. I'm the only person who knows how to do anything.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's life, baby. But when we were exiting the theater, there were like three like straight, probably like junior or senior in high school boys who were in the theater, and I was like trying so hard to hear what they had to say because I was like, are they gonna like trash on my girl or are they gonna like turn over a new leaf and like surprise me? But anyways,
What they have to say, did you hear?
I don't know. I couldn't really hear. I think they liked it though. I like believe in my heart of hearts that they did.
I actually can't like imagine. Well, I guess you could not like it, but like it does seem like very universally appealing.
There were like some
Maybe, but like not universally appealing, but like very, very accessible, which is what surprised me to like such a broad audience. Cause I was like, I don't know. Like I told my mom to go, like I feel like she would love it. Cause it's just like funny. I don't know. I love physical comedy
yeah.
so much. I love fighting. I love action. I love blood. I love like cheesy
But a lot of
blood.
people don't like those things.
I know a lot of people don't, but
Like
when it's
violent.
done well, how could you not?
I don't know.
That's my mom's like
Like
biggest
one
problem. She's like, stop reading things all the time. Like every time you watch a movie, you have to read everything about it. And you
no,
just
I have that too. I get it.
I love when people talk their shit.
No, I love it because it like oddly like validates my opinions more when I see someone have a bad take and it like makes me feel more strongly about my opinion.
What was just like to summarize, just like a general like atmosphere of the negatives of the
I don't
negativity.
remember. It was just like a tweet that was like, wait, I didn't really like bottoms. Oh wait, okay. I found a 2-star review. Io Debris' delivery is the only thing I liked about this. The only parts that really made me laugh. She's a comedy star in a movie that mostly made me go like flat, like
Okay.
mouth
Fair
emoji.
enough.
Woman next to me kept audibly gasping, and I wish this did that for me too, but it wasn't that provocative or interesting. All which would be forgivable if it had good jokes or something. I think the disconnect happened because the film lands in a weird middle area of being neither that real nor that absurdist. Go in one or the other direction or hell both. I disagree. It does go in both
And in
directions.
one direction.
Like it's mostly absurdist, but I mean it has like real-ish moments.
Yeah,
And like I like that about a movie. Like I like when it has some real it would be stupid to watch it. Well, no. It wouldn't be stupid to watch a fully absurdist movie, obviously, but like for a movie like this that wants to appeal to a wide audience and does appeal to a wide audience, obviously it's going to have some real moments and some absurdist ones. Like what?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, I disagree with that,
but
yeah.
also saying that it's like bad jokes, like you're just wrong.
Yeah, it's hard for me to agree with that because I was cackling, so
Yeah, so
yeah, but I guess everyone has different senses of humor or whatever.
oh my God, then there's this 1-star review that's literally like 18 paragraphs long, which is obviously fine and valid to like write a really long movie review.
That's so stupid unless I agree with it. Like if I'm writing a paragraph review, like it's justified.
Better
Best
to have my opinion.
kidding.
Seligman can't stage a scene for shit. Her shooting style gives the editor so little to work with. The movie is embarrassingly paced, and more than anything else, I found it deflatingly unfunny. Okay, unfunny isn't true. The other things I feel like I don't know enough about to like really judge.
Yeah, embarrassingly paced. I can't comment on that. Unfunny, I disagree personally.
Unfunny, completely
As you
different.
stated, I found the movie funny.
Yeah.
Laughed a lot. I laughed so hard at this movie. I remember the moment that I laughed at that no one else did, and I was like, wait, what? It was when the principal was like, wait till you're munching beaver at
That
Wesleyan.
was really good. That was good.
Just like the I mean, it's not the funniest thing in the like they made a million jokes. You guys are lesbians and virgins in college. Just like the delivery, munching beaver at Wesleyan,
Yeah, that's
and the way
great.
he said it, I'm sorry, that's hilarious. And like
I
their
like
colleges kept changing to like different like liberal arts, like women's colleges was so funny.
I didn't pick up on that.
Or maybe they just
Favorite
hadn't like applied or whatever, but they were like Sarah Lawrence, and then it was Emerson, then it was Wesleyan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the running joke of the school like worshiping the football players more than anyone else, which like obviously is made in a lot of high school movies, but this one just like captured it really well. Like the behind them in the cafeteria, like they sit at their own table and it's like staged like the Last Supper, and then
Yeah.
behind the creation of man, but like Jeff's face is on it. And then there's the song that wait, why am I remembering them like singing Jeff's name a bunch of times? Whatever.
I don't
I
know.
don't
I know you would always say Jeff, but
know.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like they just get it. Like it's good.
There's such good like attention to detail too. I love like when uh oh my God, I'm forgetting her. Oh, Josie and Isabel are in Josie's room for the first time, and she's like putting like everything in Josie's room, and she's like moving all this stuff around, like and like she's hiding things. Like that was just like so funny.
Next, the Barbie movie.
Abby, I forgot about Barbie.
Real yeah, it was
It came and it went. Like
it
it
did.
really came and then it went.
I really agree. I saw it in the middle of rural Pennsylvania, and my theater was full, and my audience had a surprisingly like good reaction to it, and I liked it. Was it everything? No. I loved a lot of it. Felt kind of mad about a lot of it. I don't think I hated anything outright. So, yeah.
I agree. Like I think I wrote this in my letterbox review. Let me not reference that like for 1 minute. I was like, I feel like I have a lot I could say, but I really don't feel like it. Me about my summer, there's a lot I could say. Because sometimes I just like don't know how to like it's just like I'm just like I liked it. Like that's kind of all I gotta say is like I liked it.
Yeah.
But I also think if I were to like really get into like how I actually feel about it, I think what I like the most is that it was very ambitious. And I will never not give it that it was trying to do a lot of things. I don't think it was like I don't think it's fair. I don't know what I was gonna say that I don't think I think it took a lot of risks, is what I was trying to say. Like, I don't think you can say that it didn't. I think it took too many. I think it was unfocused, which is my biggest issue with it is that I was like, what are you saying? But I really do think like it kind of was as big of a deal as it needed to be because it is a big deal that it was a Mattel movie that didn't just go the easy route. I think, and I read a really long interview with Greta Gerwig about it, and like I love Greta Gerwig and I do admire like her work with it. I think it was just a little bit larger than itself and bit off more than it could chew.
I agree. I full-heartedly
I
agree. I will say the whole like speech in the middle, like that America Ferrera gives, where she's like, "Women have to be this and this and
Yeah,
this." I was like, it's giving Tumblr posts that I would have
that didn't hit for
when I
me.
was 11. That like, what?
I said that did not hit for me. But
No.
I feel like there were a good amount of people for whom that might have been like the first time they heard something like that, either because they were young or old.
Agreed. I
So
did like I just think those parts of the movie like weren't for me who already has or like weren't made for the people who have like a developed sense of feminism and who have like read into it for many not read in I'm not saying I'm like the most well-read person on the planet or like anything like that, but
She's Dr. Feminist.
like I've just known about it. Like
Yeah.
I've been on that wave for a little bit too long to like be seeing anything in the Barbie movie that I didn't already know.
I also think like they really hit a lot of points too much, and those speech moments were big instances of that. Like I liked like my favorite moments were like when they got into the real world and she was like, everyone's looking at me.
Yeah.
And
Those
like
exact
that guy just like goes and like slaps her ass.
Mhm.
And like just like moments like that that are like specific that are like things are happening. And then like I love one of my favorite parts was like, oh my God, the Supreme Court. Like I laughed out loud. I thought that was so funny. And those did like a lot more to me than like all the speeches.
I agree. It's just like show don't tell and like utilize the humor
Literal.
aspect of it because
Yeah, utilize. Yeah, exactly.
that's like what actually makes sense for a movie about a Barbie who goes into the real world and like comes back. Like it's a very absurd. Okay, I feel like the letterbox reviewer of Bottoms who was like either be absurd or real. But like that's kind of what I'm going for in
No, that's more of a criticism of Barbie.
yeah. Like I
Also, the world was like confusing. Like, okay,
it,
when Eileen was like, I didn't get Barbie, I was like, girl. And then I watched it and I was like, wait, I'm confused.
yeah,
I don't get Barbie. What's going like, where are they?
yeah. She had sent that after I had seen Barbie and initially I was like, oh, like there's not really much to get. Like it just is what it is. And like that is
Sure.
true.
Yeah.
It like you just have to let it wash over you and not think too hard about it. But like I understand going into a movie and like wanting it to make sense also.
I understand going into Barbie and wanting it to make
Yeah.
sense because, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. But
uh,
I don't know. The world was kind of confusing, but I didn't hate that.
yeah. It wasn't like so distracting. So I was like, it's crazy. It's Barbie.
Yeah. It was more just like the moments where they really tried to push like really tried to push like we are serious feminist. I'm like it is the Barbie movie and like Barbie is like the epitome of girl boss feminism. Like you can't be trying to sell me anything that isn't that. But yeah.
And they
Like,
also,
also
oh, go on.
the moments with like the founder at the end were like cringy as fuck, like the ones with the old woman. I
I
didn't
didn't. That was something, and I was like, it was too much.
yeah.
Like
It
they
was
didn't.
like we don't need this.
That's like its
Like
own movie,
yeah.
a biopic about her or whatever. I don't know.
Because it was very different from the central theme. But I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah,
But there
I
are a
also
lot of parts of it that I thought were really cute and really good. And also in the America Ferrera scene or speech, after she made the speech, there was like a silence like in the audience, and then my friend Claire started clapping, and then the whole theater started clapping, and that was really cute.
yeah.
So
No, I
moments
think it was definitely they're responsive. Also um like as I said with Bottoms, like the attention to detail was really really fabulous. Like
yeah,
the design was, and like I knew that was happening going in, but like the opening scene with her like in her Barbie palace and like
so good.
all like I just know like so much research went into that, which I love.
Yeah. And the Ken musical number, a lot of people are hating on, and I loved that
I
part. I
really
thought it was so funny. I love the character of Ken in general. Like I thought he had the funniest moments overall. But yeah, it was just good. And I like the dance scene to
yeah.
the song. Like that was hilarious. It
I
was all
think one more like criticism in the vein of doing too much is like it was so overcorrect. Like it prepared itself for any possible criticism and I was like, you just can't do that. Like it like had all its defenses were ready for anything anyone could say about it. But I'm like, just like at a
just
certain point you have to let yourself be criticized
yeah, I
and
hate when
like
that
why
happens.
you can't anticipate every bad thing someone's gonna say. So
Yeah. Like it's one thing to be self-aware and to be like, hey, we know like this part, but like to do that for every little thing is kind of annoying.
yeah.
But overall, I say 4 out of 5, very fun, not as good as it could be. That's what I think.
I'd say 4 out of 5 very fun and as good as it could be, dare I say,
Really?
because in these constraints, I mean, of like it, I don't know, it's hard to even say like what it could be because it's like, are we saying like that Mattel is making or that like is going to be like a huge like franchise movie? I guess like an indie like filmmaker like on their own budget like could maybe, well actually they probably couldn't because they wouldn't have the budget to do like the best parts of the movie, which is the set and the character. So I don't know, I might stand by as good as it could be.
Okay. Any closing thoughts on our queen?
On Bobby, no, I think it's a any thoughts I had I forgot with during the break, so
Yeah.
they weren't.
I do feel like the movie was a very good representation of the concept of Barbie because it's like it's trying to be deep and feminist, but it's just like fun and cute and like fun and has cool settings and costumes and is silly, but it's like not really that deep.
I agree. Are we ranking our movies
Oh yeah, let's
or
do
did we
that.
just decide? I haven't seen didn't she have an early movie that like I haven't I there she has four.
No, it's just Lady Bird, Little Women in this. Well, she helped
Well,
write
I don't know if
Frances
it's her first
Ha,
one. No,
but I'm
it's
not
not.
thinking
It's
of
another.
that.
But I maybe I made this. I thought she had a directorial debut like way back in the day.
No, Lady Bird was
No.
her first.
Okay. Lady Bird, Little Woman. Can I guess your ranking?
Yeah,
There's three, so it ain't game. Little Women, Lady Bird, Barbie.
yeah, that's it.
Yep.
What's yours?
I would say Lady Bird, Little Women, Barbie. I forgot how much I really liked Lady Bird until I watched, I think it was Broe Deschanel,
Mhm.
who is a YouTuber. I
Yeah,
watched
I
her
watched Zoe Deschanel's video about the Barbie movie.
on, I watched that too. And after that, I watched her essay. After that, I went to watch her essay on Fleabag, and then after that, I watched it on Lady Bird, and
Wow.
just kind of reminded me how much like I really like. I think Lady Bird had much more of an effect, like a lasting effect than Little Women. But I love Little Women. Like
Yeah,
they're very close.
yeah, I agree. They're very close, but Little Women just has a special place in my heart
Yeah,
because
it's a
of
good
how
movie,
much it made
right?
me cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, next. Okay.
Wait, sorry. Can I just say she directed Nights and Weekends? Maybe co-directed.
What is that?
She did. That's what I was saying. Is that her sneak?
Her sneak. Let's see.
Maybe co, but American mumblecore film written, directed, co-produced, and starring Joe Swanberg. Oh, so Joe and Greta they co-wrote, directed, and produced.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would say that's a sneak for sure. Because it made $5,000 at the US box office. Let's go.
Let's go. We're up. Yeah, but we're down now.
Okay, new topic. Trigger warning. Okay. This segment is called That Serial Rape Apologist Show. Because it stars 3 stars of the That 70s Show, Danny Masterson, Ashton Kutcher, and Mila Kunis. So let's get into it. So this is the timeline of the main events. So from 1998 to 2006, That 70s Show was on air. Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, and Danny Masterson are all on the show. Kunis is just 14 when she starts the show, and Kutcher and Masterson are 20 and 22. Her character is romantically involved with both of them throughout the show. In 2001 to 2003, there were 3 separate incidents where Masterson drugged and raped women in his home. And so that was while the show was still on air. And that's when Kunis and Kutcher are both like friends with him. But Mila Kunis, let's remember, is like 17 to 19 at the time. In 2012, Ashton Kutcher drunkenly professes his love for Mila Kunis at 2 a.m. and they become a couple and they've been together ever since.
Oh, I'm surprised. I don't know. I thought they were together since That 70s Show. I didn't know it was a later thing.
No.
Okay.
March 2017, the allegations of Danny Masterson surfaced. The LA investigates, and Masterson is taken off his Netflix show that Ashton Kutcher is also on called The Ranch. September 7th, 2023, Masterson is sentenced to 30 years to life in prison. And then a few days after this sentencing, the letters came out that Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis had written to the judge, like on his behalf, basically saying that he shouldn't be sentenced to that long, or that he should he should serve his, I forget the term, but where you like don't serve all 30 years at once, you like break them up.
Okay, so turns out I got that dead wrong, and what the letters, and I think the lawyers were pushing for something called a concurrent sentence, which means if you're convicted of 2 or more crimes, you, instead of serving the time for this one and then the time for this one, you serve them both at the same time. And so you basically only have to serve the length of like the longest sentence. So in his case, that would mean what they wanted was for him to serve 15 years to life, so be eligible for parole after 15 years. What he ended up getting was 30 years. So he has to serve both sentences. He's not serving them concurrently, but their wish was for him to serve them concurrently, so to only serve 15 years before getting parole.
That was like their main proposal. And I read through their letters, and we'll get into that now.
How many letters?
So there was, that's a good question. Let me make sure. There were about 36 letters written in total. They only wrote one each.
Wrote the other ones.
His family, other friends, police officers, business owners, other less relevant Hollywood figures. There was one actress who I had never heard of, but she was also a Scientologist, because, that's the other important part, is that Danny Masterson is a Scientologist. And I find that to add up a lot, because Scientologists have a history of being very abusive and bad and blah blah blah, but I don't want to say too much on that, so because I don't want to get hunted by the church. So in Kutcher's letter, he made a lot of grammatical errors, but something that really stood out to me was that he said, anytime that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he, Danny Masterson, made it clear that that wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. And that's like something that both of them emphasized a lot, was Danny Masterson's like aversion to people who take drugs and like do substances and all that stuff. Which would like be a fine trait to like have in a person if that person wasn't using drugs and alcohol against his victims in order to commit those sexual acts against them. I just think that's like a really weird thing to like point out over and over, and me like the main thesis statement of your letter defending this person, when that's like something that was literally used in the crime that he.
Wait, what was like the point of him, like, of Ashton Kutcher saying this? Like, what was that? Was the defense supposed to be?
The main idea of the letter is Danny Masterson shouldn't be in prison for that long. Like, he shouldn't be sentenced to all like 30 years to life that he got, because he's a good person. He is no longer a threat to society, and he has like a family and a business to run that would be impossible to care for if he was in prison. So, and that was like the main idea of like all the letters that were sent, the letters sent by like his family and his friends and all that. Like they all basically said the same thing over and over and over again, which was that like Danny Masterson is a great person. He's always preaching like anti-drug advocacy and like.
Oh, so that was this was like saying that like he's a good person because he's anti-drug. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because a really big thing that they emphasized was like, we were really young in Hollywood, and Danny Masterson was like a mentor to us, and he was guiding us away from the like scary drug life that a lot of Hollywood stars get sucked into, and stuff like that. And again, like, I think that's a totally valid thing to like really value in someone, but to like, first of all, to word it like that, like he made it clear that it wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. Like, it wouldn't be a good person to be friends with like a drug addict or like someone who uses drugs. Like, I think that's a weird thing to say anyways. Yeah. But like, I get that for a lot of people it's very like an ideal quality to have in someone to like abstain from drugs and stuff like that. And that's like totally valid again. But like I just find it very ironic that they're saying all these things about someone who used drugs and alcohol to commit like violent crimes. Like, you know what I mean? Because he used that on his victims. He drugged them. So like it just feels like almost like disturbing that they're using that to defend him, that he was like against, because to me, not to like deeply analyze him psychologically, but I think like his strong aversion to drugs and like his constant preaching about like don't do drugs, like don't get involved in all that while he's using it on his victims, like it just reinforces like he was really like trying to harm his victims and like got off on overpowering his victims and like victimizing them if that or like harming them because he viewed drugs as such a harmful thing and was always talking about drugs being such a harmful thing, and then he like gives it to his victims. It's just like that man is sick in the head, clear, like so obviously.
And a guilt thing.
And a guilt thing
That's
too,
a
because
common thing to be the most like critical of the thing that you do.
Literally, yeah. But it's also just ironic by itself, like apart from the crimes, like Danny Masterson owns a winery, and like Ashton Kutcher, like and Mila Kunis, they like put out a wine brand, like blah blah. Like clearly they're completely fine with alcohol. And I mean that's just like another society thing of like we view alcohol as like separate from other drugs when it really shouldn't be, like it's just as dangerous, like blah 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 blah. But it's just like weird that he's apparently preaching about substances but like literally owns a winery. Like it's
Do you
just
think they were trying to like imply that he's not guilty? Were they trying to, or were they like, yeah,
no.
did
The
this?
point wasn't that he wasn't guilty because it was past the conviction. It was that this was ahead of the trial that was supposed to sentence him. So in these cases, there's the trial of determining whether they're guilty or not. He had already been found guilty on 2 charges. Then there was the trial for his sentencing. They wrote the letters in this part of time between the like conviction and this. Like they fully knew he was
They
guilty.
knew, and they never like they didn't even try to imply that they thought he wasn't guilty.
No.
Like okay.
Not exact. Like, but they were implying that he like shouldn't be punished.
Yeah, but he did what he did.
Like they never say explicitly like we believe the victims and blah blah or like whatever, but it's not about that. Like that's not what the letter's about. The letter's about like we don't think he's a danger to society. We think he's a good person and he deserves to like not be punished very harshly for this. But to me, like that's not just as bad as outright saying like we don't believe he's guilty, but to be like fully backing up the morality of a literal rapist is like, regardless of your reasoning, is really weird to me.
Yeah, that's
really disturbing. And like clearly you're a bad person or you have a lot of issues to work out or like whatever. But we'll get to that later. So then the victim of Danny Masterson posted this like kind of cryptic message on her Instagram story regarding Ashton and Mila's letters about it. And this was after they released an apology video that was literally less than a minute and it barely touched on any of the concerns that people had. They were just like, we support victims, like blah blah blah. And it's like, this is a bad apology. And it was just like not good.
Apology came after one of the victims posted this.
No, this came after the apology. This came out and then the apology.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
I had it backwards in my brain, even though it's literally written on the screen. So she writes this really cryptic message where she implies that Ashton has done really bad things too. She says, "Did you forget I was there? You were on speakerphone that night. You called Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor." For context, February 21st, 2001 was the day that Ashton's girlfriend at the time was murdered by this stalker guy and Ashton was like never suspected for the murder or anything like that. Like, he was very much like, he did not murder this girl, right? But like, what is this implying? Like, I heard you call Danny on February 21st, 2001. I heard everything. I heard the plan. In my opinion, you're just as sick as your mentor. Like, it's very weird to me. It's very suspicious that like the date she gives is the day that Ashton's girlfriend at the time was murdered. But I don't want to like theorize too much about that because there's so little information given by this post. The second paragraph is a little bit more like concrete. So, dear Mila, I pray you begin to process what you experienced as a child on that set. So Mila started that 70s show when she was 14, and then she had a bunch of like storylines where she had romantic and like sexual relationships with a bunch of the characters on the show. And all those characters were adults, like over 18. Like Ashton was 20 when I think, or Mila was like 14 and Ashton was 19 when they had like their first kiss on the show, which is already like.
Sorry to interrupt. Didn't she like, I remember always like reading this as like a meme when I was little. She like lied about her age.
Yeah.
Not that that's like.
Yeah, she did lie about her age.
I'm certain they knew, or they didn't try hard to find out. Like, but like that was like always the story, is that like she lied about her age. Like they thought she was 18.
She lied about her age in the audition, but like you can't lie about your age when you're getting hired. Like, you need proof of ID and like all this stuff. And this wasn't like 1920 before they had the invention of passports or whatever. Like, this was very much like in the time, like they would check and they would know by the time that they were like writing her storylines and filming stuff. So that relationship has always like been weird to me because they met when she was 14 and he was 19, and they were like, and that wouldn't be weird on its own if they had met when she was young and he was old, and then like 10 years later they got together romantically, like when she was fully like 27 or whatever. Like, that's fine, whatever, 27 and 32. But it's the fact that like they played romantic characters together. Like, clearly there was probably the spark was set back then when they first like had their first kiss, or like they first had this romantic storyline, but that was when she was underage. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not the like, I don't know.
It's like BoJack.
Kind of, yeah.
Well,
not exactly.
Not exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, he's also like said weird jokes about the Olsen twins and Hilary Duff and waiting until they turn 18, when Hilary was 15 and the Olsen twins were 16 and he was 24 at the time or something. So he just, if he's making jokes like that, who knows what he's actually doing like behind closed doors. You know what I mean? It just kind of stresses me out. And then the fact that they were friends with this horrible guy for so long, and they knew about this for at least since 2017, and they never like publicly, I don't think, came out against him or anything like that. And then they literally write character letters to the judge in order to not get him sentenced for that long.
Also, isn't their whole, maybe you'll get into this, their whole careers like within the last like 10 or so years at least, or 20 years, has been like saving children from being sex trafficked. Am I like wrong about that?
No, you're right. I actually don't mention that in here, but it is like an interesting.
When I first saw like their video, like that was like because that's like the one thing I always knew about them, because like I would see this someone like the heroes, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, like do this.
Yeah, they have a very clean and like good image in the public eye up until then, because they donated $30 million to Ukraine, or like they started a charity for Ukraine, and they have this organization that helps stop human trafficking, and they had like a fundraiser during COVID, and like they have all this good looking stuff, but then they're also doing these things that, because they didn't realize that their letters would like be made public. Ashton, in the video, he says like they were meant for the judge to see, implying that he didn't think like the public would see them, or like the victims would see them or whatever. So clearly this was something that he was trying to do in private and kind of get away with. but yeah, it's just like it really doesn't align with like what the public thought of them up until then and what they're trying to present to the world. So that is like an interesting aspect of it. But yeah. Okay, so these are my theories for like why they would do this. So these are listed from most to least gracious. The first is that maybe they're literally prison abolitionists and like care about the impact of Masterson's incarceration on his daughter and like all this stuff. But obviously that's not true. Like that's not why they're doing this. Like they're not prison abolitionists. The second reason, maybe the Church of Scientology is threatening them and they needed them to write those letters so that they weren't killed by the church. But we're not going to talk about that. The most realistic reason in my eyes is just like deflecting that like they can't accept that their friend did a bad thing because that would mean that they are also bad. Like the company that you keep says a lot about your own character, and if someone close to you has like done something like super disturbingly wrong, it is obviously going to be very hard to accept. So maybe this is just a way like they can't accept that and they have to like just come up with reasons why, like, oh no, he's such a good person because this and this, and like they just had to like externalize that and like put that out into the world so that they like felt better about themselves because they had like a 2-decade long relationship with this man that did this horrible thing, and like they're trying to reconcile with that. I think that's why they would do that, but maybe I don't know, maybe it's something else. And then like the most tinfoil hat of all of it was that like Danny has dirt on them that would be worse than the backlash they're getting now. And it was kind of implied by the Instagram post. I don't know. Maybe. I don't want to theorize something like that because that sounds really crazy and bad, and I hope that's not the truth. But yeah. Thoughts?
Well, I mean, I only like knew the breadcrumbs. Is that a saying? I would like go on Twitter and like see this, but like literally just be like, can't I don't feel like knowing this much about another like celebrity cancellation thing, because like it's just gonna make me really depressed, and then lo and behold it made me really depressed. And like I agree with you of like it is like tinfoil hattery. Like it is sort of like an impulse to be like, oh, what was their motive? Why did they do this? Because like I also think it's hard to accept that like I guess I don't know, the,
Celebrities that you
the
like.
world is fucked up, and
Yeah.
like fame especially is fucked up, and they like, as far as we know, there is no secret like elaborate thing behind all of this. They just like defended a rapist because he was their friend, and like I feel like that's the story.
Yeah.
And it's yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that is like the way that things work. Like that is why so many horrible men get away with such horrible things, is because there's like so many people that like value them more than the women that they hurt. And like this is just one example of that. Like
And
another, yeah.
if you're in the, I'm not like trying to make this sound in any way like a defense of them, obviously. I hope that's assumed, but like if you're in the industry, like you know so many horrible things that so many people do that like sure it's somewhat desensitizing,
True.
because you know so much dirt, like people who knew like I don't know, Harvey, like that's like the first example because he's like the biggest one, like who knew what he was doing and like kept that on lock, either because like they were afraid of him or afraid of losing their job. Like I don't know, like it's just like it's like you like they was public is like really like a 1/100th of what is actually like
Yeah.
happening. Not that like it's important to like speculate or just like assume that every man in Hollywood is evil. I feel like we've kind of like gotten past, like had that conversation so many times, but like just like as a whole, like as an industry, it's like no, it's like
Never know.
it's
Yeah.
cool.
You can't like build these expectations for people because you literally
That's another thing is like, yeah, you really can't like put people on pedestals that you don't know, which I also think is like, yeah, everyone knows that, but then it's like when Mila Kunis does it,
or like Drew Barrymore being a staff.
what did Drew Barrymore do?
She's gonna her show is gonna come back on despite like the writer's strike. So she's basically like doing that is obviously like crossing the picket lines in this situation. So like
See, I'm like Drew, but I'm like, I
yeah.
don't know her.
Literally, but her
I
public
don't know her.
persona
Like, I
is
don't
so
know Mila
perfect and
Kunis.
so good. Like she seems so awesome when you see little clips of her like interviewing people. Like she seems like one of the nicest people ever, but then she does stuff like this and it's like, what is reality? Like what is this? It's crazy every single time. Even though every single time I'm like, yeah, like celebrities are probably pretty horrible. Like we don't know anything about them. Like don't act surprised. But then I am so surprised when things happen. But anyways. What can we learn from this? Number one, don't be friends with Scientologists. Number two, when disturbing allegations come out about people you care about, go to therapy or journal or meditate or whatever the fuck you need to do. But most importantly, stop supporting them. Don't deflect in the way that they did.
What?
Character letters are pretty useless.
Character letter? I'm sorry if you said it. Can I just, what is a character letter?
A character letter is a letter that you would send, or a character statement. Sometimes you
Oh,
the
I feel like I
on
just,
trial knows, writes, or says to the judge in order to like sway them that they're either not guilty or that like their sentencing should be reduced or like something like that.
because of their character.
Yeah, because of their character. But in a lot of situations, character letters are like pretty useless because the judge
Yeah.
can't really use that. Like the judge has to use
Yeah.
the actual evidence of the case. Letters you write to a judge are public records and will come out because Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis did not know that when they wrote those letters. And then you cannot possibly judge the morality of a celebrity you don't know, which is something that we just touched on. But yeah, that's what I learned from this. Okay. But yeah, any last thoughts?
Sorry. No, I think we kind of like got it all covered. I mean, I didn't, yeah, like I said, like I didn't really know any of this, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, I was, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, lighter topic. Bill Clinton and Emma Roberts. So here's how it all started.
Wow. You're fine. You're on a different news channel than I am.
So Emma Roberts flees bookstore as the paparazzi spot Bill Clinton at the same store. Now, if I know anything, it's that if there are two celebrities at the same store, they are literally dating. Like they're having an affair. Like there's no.
I love Pop Crave so much.
Another thing I know to be true is that everything that Pop Crave tweets is correct, and you know that because they literally have the verified symbol. So that means that the words they're saying are verified from a verified.
I mean, they're by far the most reputable pop.
They are. That is true.
Don't come around me with pop things. I don't hear about that.
Don't even come around me with that shit.
Not
but yeah, basically, yes. Is this the only time that they've been spotted out in public together? Yes. Were they even remotely close to each other in this video? No. Is Bill Clinton married? Very prominently? Yes. Is Emma Roberts also prominently in a relationship? Yes. Would they make any sense as a couple? I think they would.
I think they would.
I think they would make a lot of sense. I think they should date if they aren't, if this is just a rumor or just a coincidence.
I think they'd be like so hot together. Imagine like Bill Clinton like in a basketball jersey, like
why?
Accessibility options.
Girl, wait, okay, you can't
Ew,
hear.
what was that voice? Did you
you can hear? It's
use the tab key to navigate.
No, I didn't mean to click that. That was the most inaccessible thing I've ever seen in my life. I
That was
barely
scary.
got the computer, started yelling.
That.
Imagine it's like the 90s, Bill Clinton's like in a basketball jersey and he's like on a like this big like couch and he's like got his arm around her and she's like in like baggy like cargo pants and he's like hotboxing with like the and just like that vaporizer and she's like, Bill, can I get a hit? Like
this is such a specific vision.
I saw it.
You saw it?
I saw it in my head the second it all
You witnessed it in real life? You were there?
I was on the couch.
You were in the room? Oh my God.
I was on the couch. I wasn't just in the room. I was on the couch.
You were on the couch? That's
Clouds. Massive clouds billowing.
That is crazy.
Puffs.
Because
crazy.
like
it smelled crazy.
Something interesting that happened to me was that I was actually a few days ago I was like playing in this tennis game. It's like the US Open. And then I look out into the crowd and like in the front row is Emma Roberts and Bill Clinton. And they actually were like dressed to the nines and it was like really cute. But they were like trying to be DL, so like she was wearing sunglasses and like he was wearing like a hat and a hoodie. But I was like, I know that nose anywhere. Like I know that's
You know how like they would totally sit. Okay, she would have like the big sweater, like Ariana Grande style, and she would have like he would be sitting normally, but she would totally be like at an angle and have her knees like draped over him.
Oh my
You know what I
God.
mean? Like they would so sit in that way.
Like you're so right for that.
Because I saw it.
Because you were literally there, you were on the couch.
That was a warrior, yeah.
You were a warrior. But yeah, basically, so for me, obviously, like my celebrity OTP will always be Jeff Bezos and Blake Lively. But I think they're like an easy like second place, like Bill Clinton and Emma Roberts. Like
I really see it. I'm not even kidding.
I see
I really don't know very much at all about Bill Clinton other than like that he's Hillary Clinton's man, so they say, allegedly, that he's her beard. But like he has a swagger to him, just like aesthetically.
Mm-hmm.
That,
he has Southern charm, and she has like the California like bad.
She's Southern. Well, that's not what I was gathering.
I think so.
They have a similar Kylie and Timothy. Like he has like a skinny white boy swagger.
He really does.
What are your like really like your spark notes on Timothy and Kylie?
Okay, my opinion is it does make oh yeah, he's from Arkansas. Like people think it doesn't make sense because they think Timothy Chalamet is like an intellectual.
They
like,
want him to choose.
Yeah. Like they want him to be something that he kind of isn't. Like he did go to Columbia or whatever. Like he is smart, but it's not like he's above Kylie Jenner. Like Kylie Jenner's also really smart. She's just smart in like a psychotic way, whereas Timothy is like smart in like a talented way. But like anyways, but like I think people want that type of man to like go after a girl that they deem interesting. And I guess that would be someone who's like indie, but like that type of man in real life always goes after Kylie Jenner. So like what? Does that make any sense to you?
No, I agree. I'm right there with you.
Okay, yeah. Like it does make sense. Like
it makes a lot of sense. I think it's very true to form.
Yeah, it's very true to form.
I also think it's like another one, like you don't know these people. It's always like when like some like guy comes out and like girls are like, no, like what did you think was gonna happen? I know it's like not that they want, like it's like a fantasy that he pick you, but it's like you want him to, but even like wanting him to want a specific kind of girl, you don't know
like,
him. He is not real to you.
Yeah,
he's a holographic image. Like
also like there's a very real chance that their relationship is like a PR thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Have movies coming out and like she's always doing PR stuff, but it's like even if it is real, like that's not that much of a stretch. Like you again, like you don't know him, and that's like the theme of this episode is like you just don't know them.
I do know Bill and
Well, that's true.
Intimately. That's a different situation though.
Yeah. But anyways, that's all I have to say.
That's all I gotta say.
Well, it's been real.
It's been real as hell. It's been 40. Okay.
Oh, I didn't end it. I just moved.
Oh, well, I can't see anything. So I literally can't. Okay.
Why can't you see anything?
Now I can. I just had to
Okay.
click a few buttons.
You thought we were dead.
Oh, you're dead.
Thought she was died.
It's been real.
Okay, well, anyways. See you
Shoot,
next
it's
time.
11:30. So I gotta get bed.
Bye.
Okay.